For today's art activity, I'm going to start by writing my name on the back of my paper, and then I'm going to flip it over. In the center of my paper, I'm going to make sure that I have found the middle, and I'm going to paint a line of paint straight across my paper. Then I'm going to take my paint and carefully paint the entire top half of my paper one color. You are only using one color for the top half of your paper. Make sure you fill in all those white spots all the way to the edge. We do not want to scribble scrabble our paint, so make sure you're controlling your brush and pulling it across your paper side to side. It is okay if the paint gets on the messy mat. Take your time and paint straight across your paper side to side, all the way until you have reached the top, and then go back and check that you didn't miss anything. Make sure you are doing your best work. Keep your elbows up while painting so your arm does not get messy. Now that I have finished painting the top half of my paper, I am going to switch colors. I am using a different brush and a different color for the bottom half of my paper. Do not mix the colors. Have them touch, but do not put them on top of each other or they will mix together. Just like with the top half of my paper, I'm going to paint side to side, nice and smooth across my paper, making sure to go all the way to the edge. That is looking amazing. I'm going to take my time and paint everything in. The purple is the table that my still life will be sitting on. The orange is the wall behind the table. You should have two parts to your picture so far, a color for the table and a color for the wall. Now, I'm going to start by putting a polka dot with black and then painting a circle around that polka dot. These are going to be my flowers, a polka dot and a circle. It is looking amazing. Another polka dot and another circle. You get to decide how many flowers we are putting in our still life painting. All of these flowers can be touching or you can leave a little bit of space between them. But try to keep them close together so that way they make a bouquet of flowers. Once you are done drawing your flowers, you can add some leaves around them. You can use different kinds of shapes to make a leaf. I am going to make a few leaves by painting a rhombus. Those look amazing. I have some space over here for another one, and let's put another one right here. I am taking my time and painting them carefully and neatly. Ovals, triangles can also be shapes that we can use for painting a leaf. Couple more leaves. I'm going to put a few more down here. It is okay if some of your flowers and leaves go down into the bottom half of your paper, but try to keep most of it in the top half of your paper. Now, I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to paint a straight line down and then a curve across the bottom to make the vase. A vase is a fancy container that we can put flowers in. Once you are finished painting, put all your materials away and we're going to let our paint dry and then finish our painting next week. For today's art activity, we are going to be painting the second layer of colors into our still life. You are going to paint the leaves, the flowers, and the vase. Last time we had art together, we painted the first layer of paint. We painted the wall, the table, and the lines for the shapes of the flowers, the leaves, and the vase. Because that first layer of paint is dry, we can now paint on top of it without having to worry about the colors mixing. If you have two paints and both of them are wet, then one will mix with the other. But if the first layer of paint is dry, then you can put wet paint on top of it and it will not mix. As you are painting, make sure you're staying inside of the shapes as best as you can. Use a small brush for small shapes and a big brush for big shapes. Do not mix the colors. Make sure you are keeping the colors separate. Do not mix the colors. When you are painting the circles for the shapes of the flowers, paint in a circle. This will give it a texture that looks more like a circular flower. If you want your flowers to be beautiful, paint in a circle as you are painting in those circles for the flowers. It'll create little lines that are going in circles, and it'll help it to make it look more like a flower. Notice how I am taking my time. I'm trying to make sure that I'm staying inside of the spaces. If a little bit goes on top of the black lines, that is okay. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to paint in all of my flowers. Once I'm done painting in my flowers, I'm going to choose another color, a different color. Try to pick colors that you have not already used. If I already have orange and purple, then I'm not going to pick those two colors for the flowers or the vase. I am going to now paint in the vase with a larger brush so it gets done a little bit faster. Make sure you are taking your time, painting carefully and neatly. I'm going to paint the color of the vase all the way up to where the flowers are and to the line where the table and the wall meet. I'm going to try to make it even all the way across. That looks good. When I'm done, I'm going to clean up my materials, put my picture on the drying rack, and I am finished with my still life painting.